Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome to our channel. Today, we're discussing the Chopard L.U.C. Chrono 1 Flyback Chronograph. You can see this stainless steel limited edition of 500 on our website, purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time to see our full listing for this watch with additional accessories included, high-resolution images, and naturally complete pricing details. The Chopard Chrono 1 features an in-house flyback chronograph, manufacturer-made case, 42mm across from 9 to 3, not including the crown and pushers, 54mm from extremity of lug to opposite extremity, and in profile, the watch is 13.5mm thick. Now you're seeing it on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, and while the watch certainly is large, and at 54mm lug to lug, does step over the boundary from large into the realm of the oversized, it's an easy watch to wear on the wrist. Now, the number one reason for that on my smaller wrist is the simple fact that the case is cambered. If you look at the arc of the lugs from one side of the case to the opposite flank, it really does curve over and around the wrist. So rather than stridently overhanging the periphery of a smaller wrist, it sort of bends down and around the forearm. So it both looks and feels better than if it were a simple straight lug arrangement. Now the watch does have a very impressive, hugely bolstered, and unconventionally cut alligator leather strap. You can see it is a rectangular scale, but it's a small scale pattern rather than the large pattern customarily used by Swiss watch manufacturers. You can also see that there's an attractive vintage style contrasting stitch, and on the bottom a very supple calfskin. The theme of this watch is vintage inspiration, and that continues on the dial itself. Before we jump into the watch proper, it's worth giving a shout out to Chopard's standard, but still beautifully designed twin trigger double deployant stainless steel clasp. Now you can see it doesn't have the one big up and over fold that can make a single fold deployant tough to manage on a smaller wrist that often pinches a smaller wrist. You can also see that the swing arm is cleverly used as a spring system for the twin trigger release, so the watch does require active involvement in opening the clasp. It has to be actively disengaged. It can't simply pop open. It's not friction fit. And as you can see, polished throughout, there isn't a single unfinished surface on the interior of that clasp. Beautifully done, and a wonderful compliment to this watch. Now, the timepiece itself pays tribute to the great sporting chronographs of the 1960s. You can see that although it is a tri-register chronograph with hours, minutes, and seconds at center, the small seconds dial is de-emphasized. It's not countersunk into the dial as are the hours and the minutes, and it isn't given a contrasting silver or guilloche cut sub-register in its own right. It just blends away. From an arm's length, the watch definitely has the look of a 1960s classic. Now the dial also has a number of planes that make it visually more arresting. You can see that there's a 60-second Rayhot outboard of the hour track, and if you look carefully, you can see that the applied hour indices do each sport an outermost dot of lume. At their outermost extremity, each one of these indices does have a little bit of luminescent material, as do the hour and minute hands at center. So it is a true sports watch, visible in low or no light. Now the dial has a gentle gloss to it. It's not a high gloss, but it's certainly not a satin or matte finish, so the watch is reactive to direct light, and it does have a dynamic play when you bring it out of the soft glow of my light box into direct sun. There's also a discrete date between 4 and 5 o'clock. It does have a quick set function. Now the movement itself is Chopard's in-house caliber 11F. This one has all of the bells and whistles. Now first I should mention that this 500-piece limited edition also features very clever case design with a little kerf underneath the crown so that you can easily dig your thumb or your pointer fingernail in and pull the crown with ease for setting. You don't have to fight to get a purchase on the crown, and that case design is part of the ergonomic equation. Now you'll also note, let me get the rotor out of the way, that this in-house chronograph caliber features both a free-sprung balance with a full balance bridge for superb stability and resistance to shock-induced timing variation, as well as a traditional column wheel chronograph function selection. And you can see, once again, I need to get the rotor out of the way, but as I cycle the chronograph, you can see the column wheel actively engaged and disengaged. And it is a flyback chronograph, so not only can you start, stop, and reset it conventionally, set it back in motion, but it does have a flyback function, so you can reset it and restart it with a single push of the reset trigger with no hazard to the movement. Now it features a 60-hour power reserve. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. When you do pull, the crown to extremity, you can see that the balance stops, allowing precise synchronization to an inaccurate reference time. This in-house 45 joule movement also features a significant refinement that, while barely visible beneath the bridge under my thumb, nevertheless has a significant impact on the quality of the chronograph function. This is a vertical clutch chronograph, so when you start it, it starts without jump, it stops without stagger, and it always resets precisely to the index at 12. It's also important to note that with the vertical clutch chronograph system, you can simply leave constant seconds engaged without any hazard or additional wear and tear to the movement. Now, this is a sporty watch, but it's not a dive watch. 3 ATM water resistant, so keep this one high and dry. For all other occasions, the combination of a white metal and a black dial with a gorgeous dark alligator leather strap, in this case it is black to match the dial, is simply superb, whether you're going out with shorts, long sleeves, formal or informal attire. This is the watch to wear with everything but a bathing suit. See it and buy it on our website.